Need some wine to go with that cheese? Well, it's not all about red. Here are 3 tips to help you find some perfect partners. It's always the quiet ones. It's hard to ignore the loud voice and charisma of certain people at a party. But have you ever got talking to that unassuming guy in the corner only to find out that he's a brain surgeon, come semi-professional musician, come tango dancer? Well, with cheese, white wine is that guy. Red wine might seem the obvious choice to many people, but actually some of the greatest matches are with white wine. Your first tip of 3 is therefore to choose white. White wine is often a much safer bet than red, especially with soft and creamy, stronger cheeses. And this is because the tannin in red wine can interfere with the fat and make it taste metallic. With white wine, on the other hand, it's unlikely that the flavour will overwhelm the cheese, and they're often usually higher in acidity, which will help cleanse the palate afterwards. It's also worth noting that white wines tend to be lower in alcohol as well, and alcohol can mess with the acidity in cheese, which can make it taste spicy, which is another reason why they work. If it simply must be red, then try and find one that has similar qualities to white wine, so high acidity, low tannin and lowish alcohol if you can. It's also best to pick a cheese that's harder and milder in style. I find that the best matches tend to be medium-bodied reds with a bit of age on them, so an Old Bordeaux or a Rioja for example. Otherwise Côte de Rhône, Valpolicella and Sangiovese all make really nice matches. Choose wine and cheese that comes from the same region, as they're usually a pretty safe bet too. One classic example is the Sauvignon Blancs that come from the Loire Valley in France, such as Sancerre or Puy-Fumé. They make a fantastic match to those soft crottin goat's cheeses that come from there. Matching wine and cheese is still pretty subjective, but here are some general pointers for some major cheese groups. Pungent, salty cheeses such as Gorgonzola and Roquefort work beautifully with rich, sweet, honeyed white wines such as Sauterne and Vin Santo. Also look for anything that has noble rot or late harvest on the label, like these two. As an insider tip, also look out for something called Pacherank. This is a late harvest wine from Gascony in southern France, and it's a tropical explosion in a bottle. And it's really, really good value and is absolutely stunning. Tangy, fresh cheeses such as feta and goat's cheese work beautifully with lighter, zippy, aromatic whites, so look for something like a Sauvignon Blanc or a Riesling. Hard, nutty cheeses such as Gouda or Gruyere, or even semi-hard cheeses like Cheddar and Emmental work really nicely with richer white whites like Burgundian Chardonnay or even Viognier. These are the cheeses that also work slightly better with red wines if you need to, because they can handle a little more tannin. Creamy cheeses like Brie need a wine with high acidity and a bit of body, so Burgundian Chardonnay is just perfect, and Chablis works really nicely too. Just as a tip, if it's a Brie that's slightly more flavoursome, then you might want to try a Premier Cru or Grand Cru Chablis, as they have slightly more weight and power.